The last 48 hours have been pretty interesting, especially when it comes to the situation regarding Corey Holcomb. Not only is he, having this beef with Anton Daniels and all of the rest of the fallout regarding Anton Daniels' daughter and wife, there was this footage that was released from a December 2024 altercation with a female comedian by the name of Christina Payne. Now, it put me in a pretty bad bind to have to come out and be objective about Corey Holcomb's video. And the reason is because I am a 5150 fan. I've never talked to Corey Holcomb, over the phone, but I'm a big supporter of the show. I promote the show whenever I can. I buy merchandise. I wear the merchandise all over Africa. And some of the shirts are pretty abrasive. So it's kind of even hard to wear his merch out, right? But Corey Holcomb is who he is. And
so are you still going to do that? Are you still going to support after knowing about this situation here?
We love him for that. And my take on the video regarding Corey Holcomb pushing Christina Payne really pissed a lot of people off. People thought that I was being unfair. And I want to read a few of the comments. This person says they had this video almost 2 years ago. No charges were filed. This other person criticizes me heavily. Damn, you handled this report with kid gloves, didn't you? Then this person, O'Shea, Corey said he was going to invite you onto the show. You better not go now. And why?
These are not even top comments, bro. You're over here reading comments that I guarantee the comment with the most likes that you just showed got 38. It's probably comments on that same video with hundreds of likes saying how Corey is wrong.
Eddie Murphy song "Party All the Time" just jumped up in my head. So people think that I am turning my back on Corey Holcomb, which is not true. If anybody has listened to Corey Holcomb's show, he criticizes his own friends all the time. He even can fall out with certain people all the time by giving harsh criticisms. I mean, that was the case with the whole Cam Newton situation. I don't think Cam Newton really spoke negatively on Corey Holcomb. He just, after he went on there, he had some criticisms. I think that he thought that he was being fair in his criticisms. And I've heard Corey Holcomb criticize a lot of people that he's cool with, even including me at times for getting certain things wrong. So if Corey Holcomb has the ability to be objective about his criticisms of other people and not mean any harm by it, then certainly I can do the same thing. And here is what I want to talk about with Corey. It's not so much that he pushed Christina Payne that is the real issue for many people. Yes, it is a real issue that he put his hands on her, and he even admitted that he did, quote unquote, mush the bee. The story is this. Corey Holcomb is a legendary African-American comic that is known all over the world. And he's done it his way. And, I'm a YouTuber with a few 100,000 subscribers, and Anton Daniels, somebody like that, has 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers. But none of us combined are Corey Holcomb. We cannot pack shows. People do not spend money to come and watch us. And we can see the difference when Corey Holcomb goes live and Anton Daniels or me goes live. It's obvious who the big fish is as a entertainer, as a name, and as a celebrity. Corey Holcomb knows this, and we know this because Corey Holcomb always talks about how he's the real deal. He talks about his skills in comedy, his longevity. He compares himself to other people. And this is something that we all agree with because we all love the podcast, not just the stand-ups or, some of the things he's done on Wild 'N Out. We love Corey simply because in today's age, people typically don't say what they feel, and we love that about Corey. But because Corey Holcomb has that energy that many of us are all attracted to, Corey Holcomb also has people who are very jealous of him because of his ability to galvanize people, because of his ability to do whatever he feels like doing, turning down Hollywood, saying what he says, and then people still following him, having a podcast, the 5150 show, that's still hot after 12 years later, and many people come and go, but the 5150 show is still there. And so with that, you gotta anticipate that you're gonna have haters. Like in this case, Anton Daniels for a certain degree, because we saw how Anton Daniels carried on after the interview, and it was obvious to see who was the bigger catch between Anton and Corey. Anton went on this tour trying to humiliate Corey for a week straight, while Corey just didn't even respond until the next Tuesday. Well, that is because Corey Holcomb is bigger than Anton Daniels. We're not saying who's richer here. We're talking about who's more solidified justified. But the reality of this situation with Christina Payne is like, well, how did this happen in the first place? Because somebody like Corey Holcomb should not even be in the same vicinity, in my honest opinion, or even in a conversation with somebody like Christina Payne. I went and I typed and I tried to find so many things with Christina Payne in her career, what she's done. I look at her, she has 18,000 followers. She has been, in my honest estimation, not very successful. I mean, she has pictures with people, but I don't see Christina Payne as a person that sells out shows. I see her maybe just barely getting by. She takes photos with celebrities and things like that. So when I look at Christina Payne, she has everything to gain by, getting into it with Corey, which is probably what I think happened. I am here to say that I do believe that Christina Payne was antagonized.
Facts. I mean, what O'Shea is saying here is facts, but what Corey did is wrong, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Corey to a certain extent. Now, I do know he can basically be, an antagonist and bother people, but I certainly believe that she was trying to do something. I don't just think that he just, got in her face and pushed her in the face for any reason. I don't think that's the case, but it's almost like that Corey Holcomb, you would expect somebody with that much talent and, that much capability, with that much fan base, to not even be involved in a situation with somebody who literally has nothing to lose. And that's really the biggest thing that people are saying and not saying. It's not the incident that, okay, he pushed some female, where something that could have happened before that we don't know occurred and her husband was there. That could have been the case, right? He made a mistake. I'll come out and say it. Corey Holcomb made a mistake, and it was a bad mistake. It was a miscalculation, a misjudgment. He made a mistake. If he could do it all over again, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't do it. But the larger question is, how does somebody with Corey Holcomb's talent and ability end up in the conversation even arguing with a person like that? And that's kind of what we got to talk about, is that Corey is really too big for some of the issues that he could find himself in sometime. And this is another criticism that when
I agree, bro, but it look what it got him, though. You know what I'm saying?
You have the ability that Corey Holcomb has, and you have that level of talent, and you have that level of following, people for sure are going to come after you. They're going to be hating on you. Now, just imagine, I got people who hate on me on YouTube. I mean, Corey is a person that puts asses in seats. So, bringing Corey Holcomb to your city as a comedy club could mean the difference between a hot night at the bar or bad night. I mean, that's why he's always on tour, because he has an offline presence that many of us don't have. And in the comedy community, in which I don't understand, I could understand there are so many comics that wish they had Corey Holcomb's fan base, that wish that they could go on to a podcast and see 10,000 people live, 15,000 people live, 20,000 people live, and just have that access built in that could, literally be a money printer whenever he wants, to get invited to Dion Coleman's podcast, to get invited to morning shows, to get invited to all these things. So then how does that miscalculation happen? How does Corey Holcomb, allow somebody who doesn't have anything to get off his square? And here is what I want to say in his defense. Corey Holcomb most likely ignores 97% of these situations. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm pretty sure. I've heard so many people make negative videos about him, not necessarily.
Well, see, you say, why was he in this situation and allowing this type of person around him when he's bigger and got more to lose or more to offer or whatever? They was already dealing with each other in the past. You know what I'm saying? He had flew her out to Howard. They got past history. So it's not like she was just a random. You know what I'm saying? So this is that 3%, but she's not a random,
YouTubers like myself or content creators on TikTok. I've heard other comedians come at Corey. I've heard other comedians disrespect Corey, and I've heard him do the same thing. So that's the real beef. There are a level of comedians that have a lot of animosity towards Corey. And the reality is Corey has a bigger responsibility to never respond like somebody like Christina Payne. This is the actual reality of why this is getting viral. How did somebody as large as Corey Holcomb at a particular minute make a mistake, hit a lady in the face or push a lady in the face, that is not nearly on his level. That's the real situation. And if we're critical of anything, it's that this is the reality. Corey Holcomb, for the last, 5 to 6 years, in my honest opinion, I mean, I've seen him go after people, and even Shannon Sharp. Like I said, he's called Shannon Sharp gay and things like that. And Shannon Sharp never responds to Corey Holcomb directly. He just brings people on to the show that have a problem with Corey Holcomb. And Shannon Sharp definitely understands Corey Holcomb and what he said about him, because he even talked about it with the Ryan Davis interview when Ryan Davis was called gay, and Shannon Sharp said, yeah, he always says that. So again, he got enemies. And this is another thing too. Corey Holcomb has plenty of enemies all across the internet within the fields of comedy. And
see, but if Shannon Sharp ran his mouth back, he ain't gonna have that same energy with no man though. I'm curious to see if Anton would have repeated himself if Corey would have muffed him then. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think he would have?
And he's a person that, like I said, he says whatever he wants, offends people a lot, like I said, and we love that about him. But at the same time, when you have that kind of, personality, when something like this comes about from a person that's actually not on your level, that most likely probably is jealous of your career, okay? And then you give that person some steam to basically catch some clout off of you, then here comes everybody else behind it trying to pull you down. This is the same thing with Hype Plus. His beef with Hype Plus, all right, which is largely an entertainment and comedy platform. You got the Corey Holcomb and the little bit of a beef he had with somebody at TMZ, I believe Christina Payne's lawyer. So as soon as, this video came out, guess who came out to interview Christina Payne? TMZ, right? So Corey has all of these enemies out there, and obviously he has people inside of the comedy world who don't like him. So what am I trying to say? That means that he should even be more on guard that people are trying to bring him down because of his talent, because of his success, right? And when you guys make, the excuse that, well, he already talked about it. He already talked about this video. O'Shea, you're hating. I mean, the video that I saw, him stepping up, pushing the lady in the face, nobody can excuse that. And the reason why nobody can excuse that is because, number one, you can't, okay? He's had an opportunity to walk the other way. He did not do it. But the other part of it is that Corey Holcomb is Corey Holcomb. He's the man, all right? There's no comic that I know of besides the 85 South show that can get on there every Tuesday night and we're there to listen to what he got to say. That's power. Okay, that's a long-standing talent. All right, that's reaching generations. You got people that grew up on Corey Holcomb by now. All right, like that's how amazing Corey Holcomb is in the grassroots. That even though he's in the grassroots, people talking about him on the Joe Budden show, people talking about him on the Shade Room. You got to have talent to have that. So then, how does he let that happen? That's the situation, right? And so when we look at it, is he just up. He made a mistake. It was an error. That's the only thing that it could be. And he made a mistake. He misjudged. He has to make the right judgment the next time. And us as his fans, we're not wrong for saying about him. Why? Because we make mistakes. We make errors. We make misjudgments. None of us here go throughout the year without making an error, without losing our.
Yeah, but we go throughout the year and years without putting our hands on women though. Yeah, I see what O'Shea Duke is saying, bro. But like I said, she's not no random. She's not just a random. So that's why she was able to be around. Although it's true, you know what I'm saying? He shouldn't even have put himself in that situation,
Are cool without yelling at your wife or yelling at if you're a woman or your husband or your family member. Like, we all lose our cool and mess up, but just because that happens, that don't mean we're against a person. It just means that person got to understand who they are, and they also got to understand who everybody else is. And I'm pretty sure that Corey Holcomb 95% of the time gets this right, 98% of the time gets this right, but it's the one time that he doesn't get it right that the enemies and everybody he has, they're going to come out against the guy. And again, this is not what I'm doing. I'm being objective. If I make a mistake right now and Corey Holcomb sees a video, Corey Holcomb going to get on his show and, O'Shea, you my bro, but he going to let me have it. He going to call it like he see it. I would expect nothing else from Corey. And we all know that about him. If I made him an error or made a mistake, anything like that, he gonna look at it objectively. He gonna say, look, bro, this is what I see on the thing. Yeah, the B was doing whatever it is. He not gonna blindly support me because he's not like that. He gonna say he made a mistake. Still my boy, but he made a mistake. And many of us are in the same vein. As men, we got to understand something. Some of these women out here are going to do whatever they feel like doing. They going to get in your face. They going to stalk you. They going to do.
So y'all still gonna fuck with y'all mans? You ain't never even met this dude, bro. You ain't never talked to him on the phone, O'Shea, dude. That being said, why are you trying to hold on so much to this nigga though? It ain't even like you do know this man in real life. So your partner put his hands on a girl, on a woman. Although it was a mistake, might have been drunk, whatever the case. Y'all still gone. He wasn't that far gone. He wasn't that drunk. You know what I'm saying? Y'all still gonna rock out with y'all mans after he didn't put his hands on a woman like that? I'm asking y'all. Cause me, chances is no.
Whatever they got to do, right? But the moment that you react to it, it's going to be the problem. Because the way the world works is, as a man, you should be bigger than a woman's problems. You should be bigger than a woman's issues. You should be bigger than a woman's attitude. You should be bigger than a woman's situation. And that's not always right as men, and we know that. And we're going to get judged harshly on that stuff. But that's what the world is going to see. They see a legendary comic who can sell out almost anywhere around the black corridor, and maybe even more than that. That should have been bigger at that particular time, and he wasn't. That's what
the truth is, though, is he's established. He's not gonna lose no tour dates unless the venues don't want to host them, and they're not gonna want to not host them because it's money for them to make.
people see. How did he allow himself to get to that point? If it was anybody else, if it was just some regular dude on the street, we wouldn't be talking about this. But because it's him. And guys, we're going to have to just realize that it happens a lot. Anybody can make a mistake. And criticizing somebody for making a mistake don't mean you're against them, okay? He f***ed up. The end. Go 5150 show. Hopefully he will learn from this, and the lady is carrying out like she's really hurting, because I don't think that's the truth. I think that she is basically making the stuff up, like about being hurt, about, all the crying. But however, we can't deny what we saw. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Shady Jackson back at it again.
She definitely is, but that don't make it right though. Hey man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. We're on the road to 100K, okay? If you ain't hit that like button, subscribe button, and turned on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself, because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. I'll get at you on the next one, and I'm gone. TYP the name.